Kingsley sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Bar Visual FTF Cup Series.
Into the lead. Bud gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag.
Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are going wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas.
Get your foot there.
He's got it. He's got it. Get there. No.
Canvas is in.
Hello and welcome back to Road America and the Modern Racing Prince FTF1 series. We got a whole lot of action out on track. Just finished up qualifying and we're moving to the sprint race here at Road America in Wisconsin. Josh Mendoza here, joined by Joey Atterbury and Zach Johnson on the controls. It's got a feature race, it's got a sprint race. That means we get double the action for the same cost, Joey.
It is a packed house here at Road America. I love the format here in this FTF1 series. You're right, we do a 15-minute feature and then, or I should say sprint, and then we lead into that feature race, kind of like a little appetizer and then a full main course.
Yeah, it's been incredible, and we are green flag racing already. We caught off guard there a little bit, but it is a standing start here at Road America, and we're already 3 wide going into turn number 1. We'll see if this action can stay nice and clean for the first lap, Joey.
Yeah, looks like the front 3 actually pretty clean away, but then it starts to get a little bit busier further back. I'm looking at Ryan Arwaki, Brian Sobelski, as well as Matthew Brewer, all involved as we head down into turn 5 for the first lap.
A little bit of action towards the rear end of the pack. Douglas Pressey almost got into Jonathan Goke, but they're able to keep together. And we go through turn number 5, turn number 6. Brian Sobelski looks on the inside of Ryan Naraki and is able to get around him, no problem.
Yeah, I think Naraki just got a little bit too deep on the brakes going there into turn 5. And Josh, something I've noticed about these cars from watching the road racing this series, they are crazy aggressive on the brakes. And here at Road America, we have some big-time braking zones.
Yeah, there are a lot of really fast straightaways and really heavy braking zones. Plenty of opportunity to get those brakes up to temperature and in the optimal performance zone. And right now, you see him out in the lead. That's Hawken. Akabuezi directly behind him, Goit behind him, and Richie Price is our top 4 as we got a little side-by-side action going into turn number 12. That's Brian Sobelski working on the other, actually no, that's Ryan Naraki getting right back around Brian Sobelski. That is immediately going back out there and getting back. Oh, we got a big wreck here.
It looks like Nicholas Pressey having troubles in Canada corner on the first lap, and unfortunately, but I believe they do have a fast repair, so Nicholas Pressey will be able to come in there, get the car fixed up as we jump back to the action. Matthew Brewer and Brian Sobelski side by side heading into turn 1.
Another thing to note, Justin Malillo lost it off of turn number 14, got it down pit road, as well as Nicholas Pressey. So those are our 2 drivers who are going down pit road this time by. But as you alluded to earlier, Goke, Sobelski next to each other. Those are teammates working together. I imagine they're going to be fairly well-tamed battle here.
Well-tamed? I mean, we're talking about racing drivers here out there still. Oh, got problems. That is Brian Sobelski and Jonathan Goke, I believe, having the issues.
I thought the teammates would mean that they would be willing to work together, but as you see right here, Sobelski having a hard time getting it back up to speed. He is going to get it going forward. That's over in turn number 5, turn number 6. And yeah, I guess I was very wrong there, Joey.
I mean, it's the second lap, and I think the thing we haven't considered, we were in a little bit of a hurry, is that these drivers are in a hurry in this quick little sprint race. So I think the attitudes might be a little bit more aggressive than usual.
Yeah, right here we're watching Jonathan Goke try to work his way around Bryce Saucier. A little side-by-side action through the Canada corner, and going up to turn number 12, and that's able to get through there no problem. I was a little bit nervous there. That's a really fast and tight section of the track that Goku was trying to make that pass happen.
It is. It's the lowest part of the track as well down there in Canada Corner. But yeah, you're coming off of the huge long back straightaway, the fast kink. You're in a draft if you're trying to set up that pass. So you're pretty much right at top speed here at this racetrack heading down into turn 12. One of the best passing areas on the racetrack.
Yeah, it is a great opportunity. It's a really tight track. As I was mentioning earlier, there isn't a lot of runoff room like we see at a lot of other open wheel road courses. There's a little bit off of those rumble strips, but not a lot of room for you to make a mistake. Turn 5 is one notable exception. It seems like there is a mile of extra room in that corner.
And Narwaki actually just got it wrong there as we're watching. I believe this is Stoltz trying to get through on Saucier as well. But you're right, Josh. This is a very narrow racetrack. We do have some exit curbs to kind of help the cars out if they drift a little bit wide. But going down the back straightaway, going into Canada Corner like you were talking about, it's very much like a water slide. It just kind of drifts from one end of the track to the other, and you just kind of have to stick with it, but it is narrow throughout the whole thing.
And Naraki, unfortunately, had a major incident, is having to tow back to the pits, and that's not what he wanted to see. So unfortunate for the number 5 traction machine out early. They'll have a faster pair available to them, actually 2 of them. In fact, we'll see a replay right here. Find out exactly what happens. That looks like that's over by turn number 8. And he's been having trouble with that corner all practice, all qualifying. He's just been not able to get it to work through turn number 8. Unfortunate for him, but got it towed. Is going to get that fast repair and that meatball flag removed from his vehicle. Get a whole new car.
That turn specifically there, turn number 8, one of the slowest speed sections of the racetrack, and you really got to be careful about getting on the throttle right there. I'm sure we're going to see lots of competitors spin up those rear tires. Looks like Jamie Ritchie Price looking down to the inside of Ben Goyette here for 3rd place as the final step on the podium battle.
Yeah, Ben Goyette gets a good run off of corner exit, was able to make that outside lane work really well. Price peaked to the inside. Not able to make it stick as well as Goyette was able to make it power off corner, but here we go through turn number 8. A lot of difficulty on getting the power back down, as you alluded to, and they're going to go through the carousel. This is a bit of an awkward off-camber corner. You want to run middle, then kind of tighten it up right there so you can get a nice corner exit off of turn number 10 and get down through Canada Corner and all the way through this straight. And it is very, very quick throughout this section of the track, but it looks like Jamie Ritchie Price has a really good draft going into turn number 12.
That's the 2nd lap in a row that Jamie Ritchie Price has been able to get that draft, but not quite close enough to make him confident enough to make the move going into Canada Corner. However, you see him starting to show the nose more and more on this number 4 car in front of him. I think it's only a matter of time until Jamie Ritchie Price gets up alongside. It might even happen here in turn 1.
Yeah, here we go down to turn number 1, one of our heaviest braking zones. He's going to be able to get alongside. Is he going to be able to outbrake? Oh, they make contact. That sends Ben Goyette right off the track. He's going to be able to keep it going forward. I don't see any sort of meatball, and he's going to get it going, but this is going to lose that podium spot, and I believe that is Jonathan Goku's also getting back up to speed, but a lot of action all happening at the same time.
Yeah, I believe this is right here on the front straightaway, so this car had a problem in the final turn. Another one of those awkward, slower speed sections on the racetrack, but I think everybody's just getting warmed up. Like I mentioned, it is the sprint here. I just think that they're testing the limits, seeing where they can make these passes, seeing how much they can squeeze the throttle or push it in the brake zones.
Yeah, right now we are looking at that leader, Brandon Hawken, out by 4.25 seconds or so. Whatever it is, it's far enough that we don't even see Hamilton directly behind in the camera shot. He wakes his way through Canada Corner and just continuing to establish a really strong lead. Something to note, if the winner of this race, which it's looking to be, Hawken is a very strong contender for that, wins this race and the feature race, they will be getting a print from modernracingprints.com of this circuit. So I'm sure Hawken's looking for to get a little bit of swag with the win tonight.
That's really cool. That was something that I actually didn't know about, and it's always awesome getting something tangible here from the virtual world, and it's just great when companies can get involved in this sort of stuff. And I don't know if you guys have checked out those modern racing prints, but they are ultra cool.
Yeah, they're really cool. I was looking at them the other day. I have an old printed thing that my parents gave me a while ago, the Daytona 500. I'm looking for something to accompany it, and the modernracingprints.com stuff is a very strong contender to go up on the wall next to it to make my room look a little bit more me, to say the least.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Zach and company know who to hook you up with over there at Modern Racing Prints. Make your room look a little bit better. But I tell you what, Brandon Hawken has just been in cruise control out front right now. I believe this is that battle that we've been watching a little bit further back here in the pack. I believe this is Justin Malillo trying to catch Brian Sabelski for the 9th position.
Yeah, and they're going to climb up out of that lower section of the track, go through turn number 14, and climb up the hill. This is a great opportunity for Justin, if he can get a couple of good corners here, to be able to close in the gap and try to get a little bit of a draft off of the rear end of the 10 car, and try to make up a little bit of room. A couple of early race mistakes put Justin Malillo back here, and Ryan Naraki is also one lap down at this point, but he got his fast repair, and I'm sure they're trying to capitalize and get back into points paying contention.
And I'm not surprised that the racing has spread out just a little bit here on the racetrack, because I mentioned it before, this is going to be a really, really aggressive race when it comes to pushing the braking limits of these cars. And when you're doing, I'm looking over 190 miles an hour every straightaway, those braking zones, you gotta be inch perfect, and if you overstep the limit, man, it is catastrophic.
Yeah, under 10 minutes remaining already in this race. It feels like it was just a few moments ago we were going under green flag racing, as we see Naraki continuing to struggle to keep that car underneath him. I think he's just rushing the throttle off of corner exit a little too fast. And with these super, super powerful engines, it's so easy to break traction with the rear ends. You got to be careful. They go up to 18,000 RPMs, and now you can't get onto the brakes quick enough. Naraki struggling in just about every portion of this car.
When Ryan was having some issues on the brakes earlier, he was just pushing it a little bit too deep into those zones. And sometimes this is odd advice to hear when you're a driver, but trust me, it works. Sometimes you actually have to drive slower in order to go faster. And what I mean by that is, don't charge it into the brake zones. Don't try to get the maximum amount of apex speed out there. Sometimes if you kind of roll into things, don't be so aggressive, you find yourself in a better place and your lap times actually come down.
Yeah, well, right now he is on the medium tires, so this is a long run to go on those medium tires as well. Maybe those could be starting to wear out. A couple of other drivers that are on mediums are Justin Malillo, Brian Sabelski, and I believe Matthew Brewer and Joshua Stoltz. Everyone else is on the hard tires, trying to make it, I think, all the way to the end without having to stop on those tires. We saw a couple of drivers mention that the softs and the mediums didn't quite last long enough in the previous sprint, so we'll see if they're able to keep it underneath them.
Definitely. I've noticed the trend here has been hard tires. They seem to last a little bit longer. They seem to be more consistent. They don't have that drastic fall off that the softer compounds do. And looking at Matthew Brewer, he is chasing right now Ben Goyette in the number 4 car. So I'm curious if we're going to see that tire compound that we're talking about come into play right here.
And we got one car off the track. That looks like that might be Jamie Ritchie Price. He's going to get it rolling again. No meatball flag. Might have just been a simple mistake. Naraki, unfortunately, he got a meatball flag. But right now, the big picture right here is Jamie Ritchie Price has just allowed Matthew Brewer to start to close the gap on him pretty significantly.
Well, both Ben Goyette and Matthew Brewer, because remember, that was the battle that we were watching, and now they are both on the back of this red number 75. As we catch a replay of exactly what happens, it's going to be probably the exit here up over turn 6. Looks to be a little bit too much apex speed, and you're right, just a simple spin. Don't see any contact.
Yeah, that's one of those mistakes that you're glad you're given a second chance. With these cars, you're not often given a second chance. It's so easy to break one of those corners of the car. And oh boy, Ben Goyette about had a moment off of corner exit of turn number 14, got it underneath him, but that's going to lead to a very, very poor straightaway performance. But he's going to be able to make it up just a little bit with that draft help from Jamie Ritchie Price as I go into turn number 1.
You're right. He's still within that. He's kind of got the fishing line on the back of the number 75, the draft into effect. And here, coming out of turn 3 all the way down this next straightaway, he's going to be using that draft into effect, trying to crawl back that track position on the number 75.
As they make their way through the moraine sweep, Ben Goyette is closing in quickly to Ritchie Price. They make it through turn number 5, climb up the hill to turn number 6, and Ben Goyette is hot on the tail, not allowing that red number 75 to get any further out in front of him.
It's almost like when Jamie Ritchie Price had that little bit of mistake, kind of breathed new life into Ben Goyette's race. He says, I might be able to get up there, stand on the podium here in this sprint race. Just got to go up there, keep the pressure on Jamie Ritchie Price. If he's already made one mistake, who knows? He might make another.
Through kettle bottoms here, and they are closing the gap real quick. Ben Goyette, very quick. I was about 15 car lengths going through the kink, already down to about 10. So each straightaway, he's able to make up quite a bit of time. But I think Ritchie Price is better through the corners. So we'll be able to see if he's able to capitalize with straightaway speed down this long straightaway down the front stretch here at Road America.
And here he comes. He got the exit that he missed last time. Here comes Ben Goyette going to the driver's right. He's going to have track positioning going into turn 1, braking duel. Jamie Ritchie Price hangs it on the outside, but Ben Goyette going to clear him going into 3.
Oh, and Ritchie Price is just barely able to outbrake him, keep him in the picture. We thought for a second there that Ben Goyette was going to be able to make the pass into turn number 3. Not able to. They are side by side. It is a drag race through the moraine sweep to turn number 5.
And now Jamie Ritchie Price actually has the driver's advantage, but who's going to break later? It's Ben Goyette. Now he is fully clear of Jamie Ritchie Price.
And you got to think back to that spin. Did that take a little bit of grip out of those tires that he needed in order to outbrake Ben Goyette? Unfortunately for Ritchie Price, no matter what the issue might have been, he wasn't able to brake just as late as Goyette, and is unfortunately now out of the contention for the podium, or out of position for the podium. Not contention. He's still there. He can get back by if he wants to.
And he's got the advantage of the draft now, so as long as he hasn't damaged those tires too much, like you mentioned, he'll be able to close it back in, just like how he is here through the kink, heading into Canada Corner. Gets a terrific run on Ben Goyette, able to close that gap back in. So you never know here. Like you said, I don't think he's out of contention quite yet.
Yeah, and he is going to try everything he can to stay here. He is going to be really close. Oh, he gets a little bit of dirt off corner exit, and unfortunately for him, that's going to not give him the same drive off as Ben Goyette had. But this draft, he's still got that tow line attached. He is closing in a little bit through the front straightaway. So keep him in contention for at least another lap.
Agreed. And it was almost like deja vu, but the roles were reversed. It was Ben Goyette that was having problems earlier coming out of the final turn, and this time it was Jamie Ritchie Price. But like you said, crucially, looks like maybe that was Brian Saucier or maybe Justin Melillo stranded on the side of the track there. But like you were mentioning earlier, Jamie Ritchie Price, not out of contention, closes it right back on up on Ben Goyette.
Yeah, that was a really, really close turn number 5. Fortunately, they were able to keep it separated. That was Justin Melillo that was stranded on the side of the road. He's going to get it rolling. No meatball flag for him. Just looking forward to the end of this race. I think they are, and getting a new set of tires onto all of these cars as we see Goyette get a little bit loose through turn number 8 as they work their way through the carousel. Ritchie Price with a little bit of a different line through the carousel.
Just trying to get a little bit of clean air, I think, and it's so crucial here in these cars. They're so aerodynamically dependent, and here comes Jamie Ritchie Price already side by side, but he's on driver's left, not where you want to be going into Canada Corner. Ben Goyette really deep on the brakes, defends his position.
Yeah, I thought for a second there Richie Price was going to be able to make the crossover happen through Canada's corner, but not able to. Goyette was a lot better off of corner exit than I expected him to be. And right now, I feel like this is just a replay of 3 laps to go. 1 minute, 44 seconds remaining here.
And I'm just so impressed by how powerful the draft is. Here comes Jamie Ritchie Price around the outside of turn 1. He makes it work. Oh my goodness, that was a power move.
And I would not be surprised if you see a move by Ben Goyette here into turn number 5. There is so much ability with these long straightaways to close up that gap. You can be fast in the corners, but the car behind on the straightaways, they're just able to make up everything that you were able to gain on them.
It is a very powerful tool to be able to use that slipstream, but here you saw Ben Goyette not close enough in order to get by Jamie Price. It is a tool, but you still have to be close enough in order to use it.
And right now, Ben Goyette is still very close, but as the number 1 car of Brandon Hawken is able to exit turn number 14, he's going to be able to take the white flag this time by, climbs the hill, crosses the start-finish line. White flag is out in the sprint for the ModernRacingPrince.com FTF1 sprint race.
I'm not surprised, and actually Ben Goyette's got Jamie Ritchie Price lined up going down Canada corner right now. He's going to go side by side really late on the brakes, but look at this. It's a drag race up the hill through 13. Jamie's going to have the advantage now.
Oh my goodness gracious. This is back and forth. This has been the battle of the race. I didn't think we were going to see something this heated through a sprint race, but this is for a podium position. I guarantee you, this is not going to be settled until we exit turn number 14 next time by.
You're right. And it's so powerful with the slipstream. Ooh, a little bit of a block there from Jamie Ritchie Price. He's finally getting his elbows out saying, hey, not this time.
Yeah, and it is going to get really, really intense as we work our way down the Marine sweep one more time for 3rd place, Ritchie Price, Goyette. And we see Brandon Hawken, he's able to exit the carousel, and there is not a soul inside of him. Hamilton Akabuezi, 9 seconds behind. Brandon Hawken is going to be able to easily cruise to a win here at the sprint as long as he doesn't overdrive Canada corner or the last 3.
Yeah, just a few more corners left. You see the lap traffic in front of him, but you mentioned it, 8 seconds that he's got over Hamilton Akabuezi. He can just cruise on home.
Brandon Hawken climbs the hill one more time at Road America for the sprint race, is going to capture some points and a checkered flag to start the night off. I'm sure Hawken is, he's probably pretty satisfied right about now.
He's very happy out there in his race car. Looks like Hamilton Akabuezi will claim that 2nd place on the podium. And Jamie Ritchie Price, after he got his elbows out, was able to fend off Ben Goyette. I know it's not over yet, but got to come from a mistake out of the 75.
Well, turn 14's been home of a lot of mistakes. We'll see if the 75 makes any, and they don't. And oh my goodness, Ben Goyette hits the wall, is completely out of contention for that podium. Jamie Ritchie Price, it was down to the wire, but he's going to capture the last spot on the podium. My goodness, what a battle.
And look at this, it's actually not over yet. Bryce Saucier trying to chase down Jonathan Goke. This is the battle for 6th place position. And oh no! Saucier goes up into the back of Goke. Heavy damage on Bryce's car. Looks like Jonathan Goke will be able to get it going and collect a 6th place.
Oh my goodness gracious. Saucier definitely has a meatball flag. His right front is destroyed. And that's going to give Stoltz the opportunity to, I think, score 1 extra point here, as Saucier is currently stuck and stranded off of the corner exit of turn number 14.
You're right, Josh Stoltz coming up the hill. He's going to see a stranded Bryce Saucier off to his left. Looks like he finally hit the tow button, but you're right. Going to take away that position. There he goes, Josh Stoltz up into 7th.
Congratulations to Josh Stoltz. He was hanging out, just stayed in it, and he's able to score 1 extra point because of it, so good for him. Well, that is going to finish our sprint race as we see a little extracurricular activity down the back stretch. Brandon Hawken wins over 20 minutes by 10 seconds. Jamie Ritchie Price third, Ben Goyette fourth, Matthew Brewer fifth, Jonathan Goke sixth, Stoltz comes in seventh, Bryce Saucier eighth. First one lap down, Brian Sabelski and Nicholas Pressey round out our top 10.
And just two more, Justin Malillo and Ryan Naraki, that were out on the racetrack. But all of these cars will be taking the green flag for our feature.
That was a one heck of a start of the night. There was a lot of heated battles that I don't know either one of us expected going into it, but now we have a little bit of time, a little bit just to breathe and kind of collect our thoughts after what we saw on track right there, and maybe do a full intro. Unlike last time, we got so caught off guard, I thought we were going to be doing a pace lap there. So, but before we do a intro, we're going to go ahead and take a break real quick, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the Modern Racing Prince FTF1 series at Road America. And we are already down with one race. That was the sprint race earlier. Brendan Hawken won it by an absolute country mile. And speaking of Brendan Hawken, we're going to catch up with him here in a second. But we are counting down 1 minute until we go onto the grid for the feature race. Brendan Hawken, you went out there, you led, you dominated. What makes Road America just so easy from what it seems like for you?
Oh, it's definitely not easy, but I just love this track. It's got a really good combination of like hard braking, slow corners, and some long flowing corners. And yeah, something about this track, and as well as a bunch of North American tracks, I find it's just something about it. Just a lot of fun to drive. I've put a lot of laps here, and yeah, just love driving this car. So good combination, I guess.
So you're in second in points right now. You just gained 10 extra points into the bucket to try and catch up to Akabuezi. Do you think this race right here is going to help you close that gap even further? Do you see Akabuezi being somebody that you have to worry about on the long run, or do you think it's mostly about not beating yourself out there tonight?
Well, a combination, I guess. I had probably one of the most unlucky races there last week at Lessarth, and yeah, I just lost quite a few points there. But I'm hoping that this time I can at least get a few of those back. And yeah, Hamilton's always quick, and yeah, like one mistake, he's gonna be right there. So it's gonna be a combination of luck, hopefully speed, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. You never know how it's going to go in these things, but it's going to be fun for sure. So looking forward to that.
All right, from race winner now starting to 8th, Brendan Hawken, thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
We see our starting grid right there. Roger Saucier, Josh Schultz, Jonathan Gook, Matthew Brewer, Ben Goyette, Jamie Ritchie Price, Hamilton Akabuezi, Brandon Hawken, Brian Sabelski, and Nicholas Pressey.
Yeah, and then the rest of these are starting how they finished in that first sprint race. And we got to remember, this is another standing start here at Road America. Can't wait to see the action on this one.
A little bit of a field invert here. I believe it was the top 10 who got, or the top 8 that got inverted. So unfortunate for Hawken. He's going to have to start a little bit further back. Got a little bit of a hill to climb, no pun intended, up on the start. So we'll see how this start's going to look. That was I believe our cleanest race in FTF1 history. No major wrecks on the start of the race. We'll see if we can continue that tradition here at Road America.
Yeah, looks like we're going to be getting the engines starting to rev here in just a second. And you're right, Brandon Hawken is going to have that proverbial hill to climb. And like you mentioned as well, here we go. Green flag on the racetrack.
And it's lights out and away we go here at Road America. A little bit of a slow start for the leaders, and I can tell you right now, Ryan Naraki is trying to make it through, but there is a gridlock as we go into turn number 1. So far, everyone's able to get through there unscathed, but fortunately, that is a good sign and a bad sign for the field. That means it's more cars that it looks like Hawken's going to have to pass. He's already up to, it looks like he is racing side by side with with Jonathan Goak. He is making his way up really quickly, already 5th place.
And Goak lets Brandon Hawken by, going down into turn 5 for the first time, but right in front of our previous race winners, Hamilton Akabuezi. And remember, he finished 2nd that last race, so I expect Hamilton to be moving through the field just as Brandon is.
23-lap race here. Plenty of time to go out there and get a win. As we see Akabuezi, he's going to try and push it 3 wide. One car goes off. That looks like that was Bryce Saucier. He started. We have another car off in the carousel. That's Matthew Brewer. He just barely keeps it off of the tire barrier and prevents his car from having any major damage. But that is a big setback for the Brewer car. And we are side by side. Akabuezi and Ben Goyette side by side going into Canada Corner.
On Hamilton, deep on the brakes into turn 12 and not able to make the pass. And here we see Brandon Hawken try to make the long way around work, and he's actually going to stick it side by side. This is a good move down through turn 14. Problems for Hamilton.
Akabuezi around. Oh, and there's a big wreck involving, it looks like Ryan Naraki and unfortunately Bryce Saucier all involved. Akabuezi's going to get it going, but unfortunate for those 2 drivers. I believe they both are going to have to come down pit road for repairs, and I'll be shocked if Naraki can get down there without towing, and he is not going to be able to.
Yeah, Naraki he doesn't have any front tires on the car, and we're actually going to get a safety car on the racetrack. Just bad luck for Ryan. He wasn't involved in any of that. I think just between the spin of Hamilton as well as cold tires from Bryce Saucier, caught out Ryan Naraki being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
The safety car has been deployed. They are not allowed to overtake. We're going to see Bryce Saucier make his way around. His left rear is all out of shape, and that all started with Akabuezi just getting a little too fast on throttle.
Take a look at the replay here. You see the carnage that was happening, and it all begins with this green car of Hamilton Akabuezi. He was battling for second place with Ben Goyette and Brandon Hawken here, and coming out of turn 14, just squeezes on the throttle a little bit too much, spins it around, and then chaos ensues.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Bryce Saucier tried to correct out of the way, and unfortunately overcorrected off a corner exit, lost it from underneath him, and that just jumped out in front of Naraki and again, Ryan's race. The sprint race woes are now carrying over to the feature race, and I'm sure he is just looking forward to not having to come back to this track.
It looks like Bryce actually made the same mistake that Hamilton did, and I just think we're on lap 1 here. It's cold tires. These drivers are used to being in the heat of the moment, ending that race on light fuel, hot tires, and I just think maybe they were getting a little bit aggressive there in turn 14 because we saw multiple drivers make that same mistake.
Mercedes-AMG's pace car or the safety car is going to lead us around the field. And right now, as it stands, Josh Stoltz is still scored the leader. Ben Goyette, then Brandon Hawken. Those are your first three. Jamie Ritchie Price also out there. Jonathan Goke, Nicholas Pressey, and Matthew Brewer. That's going to be our top 7 right now, but everyone behind Brewer on back all pitted, including Brewer himself.
And something to note here in this feature race, they do have to use a couple different compounds of tires. So the cars that are coming down and taking that pit stop, I would expect them to switch on to that hard compound. I feel like that white sidewall hard compound going to be your best race tire.
As it stands right now, Josh Stoltz is on the hard tire. Ben Goyette is on the medium tire. Brandon Hawken started on the hard tire as well. Jamie Ritchie Price on the hard tire. Jonathan Goke also on the hard tire, and Nicholas Pressey is on the hard tire. So only one car out right now that started on the mediums, and I believe that's Ben Goyette.
And I don't think that there's too much wear going on. Remember, we only did one lap. However, once we get back to green flag racing, you got to be careful of those yellow or red sidewall tires. They're just going to kind of fall off of the plateau a little bit sooner than those white hard sidewall tires.
Tell you right now, one of our faster cars, Hamilton Akabuezi, came down pit road, this most recent safety car, swapped out the tires, and now he's on those yellow sidewall medium compound tires. Maybe he is going to try and plan to charge towards the front now that everyone's got a heat cycle on their tires.
You got to remember that Hamilton was way at the back in terms of the track position. He was in that spin coming out of turn 14. So maybe this is a thought process of, well, if I have to pass a bunch of cars on the racetrack, I want the grip advantage.
Nicholas Pressey comes down pit road, I believe, a second time under this safety car to get some service done to his machine. The correction, no, he did not come down last time. He was the last one to stay out. So Nicholas Pressey having second thoughts after he saw everyone behind him coming down pit road and either get service or new tires. And Justin Malilla will also join. And just got notified by race control, safety car will be coming in this lap.
That Mercedes AMG GT3 safety car out there doing a terrific job pacing the field. It's not as easy as what you think. You just kind of put a safety car out there because these cars, they like to go fast. When you drive them too slow, they actually lose the temperature in the tire. So having a car that's capable like a GT3, always nice when you're a competitor here in the FTF1 series.
I can tell you that no matter how fast that safety car is going, the drivers behind it want it to go a little bit faster. As you said, losing heat, it could be severely detrimental to these drivers, and guarantee you they're going to want him to push it for everything it's got.
Well, not only that, but you got to remember, racing drivers, they get into a rhythm on the racetrack. So the more that you get off of that rhythm, you just kind of have to find yourself back into the groove. So yeah, the faster you go, the less you slow down, the better off you are.
Josh Stoltz will control this restart. I believe he'll start allowing a little bit of a gap to form between himself and that safety car. We see that safety car continue to go off into the great beyond. He is going to continue to go down into Canada corner, and that's going to build out a gap between this pace field and itself. Josh Stoltz will control this restart as we go through Canada corner.
What kind of speed Josh Stoltz has, because Ben Goyette, one of the most aggressive drivers in the field on the brakes, and he's proved it multiple times. Looks like the leader already starting to accelerate.
Josh Stoltz leads the field, climbs the hill. Lap number 4 is in the books, now working lap number 5. Green flag is back out. The track is clear. Our first safety car of this race is in the books, and we are going to be going really fast into turn number 1. Nobody going to go side by side right now. It looks like it's a pretty orderly start.
Brandon Hawken, though, starting to show the pressure on Ben Goyette for second place. That's 2 corners in a row that he's capitalized on the exit, but here we go. Ben Goyette in the slipstream of our leader, Josh Stoltz.
Will Brandon Hawken be patient? He is currently, we got a big wreck. That looks like that's Bryce Saucier again, unfortunately involved in a major incident. He is going to get a meatball flag. We'll see if he's able to tow that car. I believe he's able to. He is back into the pits, and Brandon Hawken side by side for second place with Ben Goyette. Gets an outside run, makes the pass really easily. Oh, wait, no, never mind. They're going to be able to make it stay on the outside. That's the number 4, Bryce Saucier. He loses the position, move Brandon Hawken up to second place, and he is going to work rapidly to try to get to the front and overtake Josh Stoltz.
I expect Brandon Hawken to go up there and steal away the lead, but we have some new players entering the mix here in the form of Jamie Ritchie Price, and then right behind Jamie is Hamilton Akabueze on those yellow tires. You mentioned he came in during that yellow flag. He's got some extra grip out of his tires.
Yeah, we'll see what that extra grip is going to last and how quickly he's going to be able to make passes happen, or how quickly he's going to fall off. We'll keep track of that. And Ben Goyette made a really big dive onto Brandon Hawken, but Brandon Hawken is going to be able to accelerate out of turn number 14 just as fast. Josh Stoltz and the leader is going to be going into turn number 1. Brandon Hawken is going to be able to make the pass and establish himself as the leader.
And Hamilton Akabueze just passed 2+ cars there into turn 1. He finds himself in 3rd place. Jamie Ritchie Price in 4th, and now Hamilton in the slipstream of Goyette. He's going to move drivers left. He's the fastest car on the racetrack.
We'll see if Akabueze is going to be able to overpass Hawken. Hawken's been unbeatable the rest of our sessions. We'll see if Akabueze is able to make that pass on Goyette. Right now, not quite, but there we go as we see him work out of turn number 6, easily establish himself out in front, and Akabueze has no one between himself and the leader. We'll see what that is going to turn into by turn number 14.
I mean, he went from being parked on the side of the racetrack at the end of lap 1 to being in 2nd place here on lap 6. So Hamilton Akabueze turning kind of his race that went upside down right backside up.
I'm curious to see if he has a draft from the Hawken machine. Currently, he's about 1.5 seconds behind. I don't know if that's close enough for a draft off of corner exit here. And he is not closing as quickly as I expected him to, but we're not quite to that infield section that he was able to make up so much time prior. So we'll see if that's able to happen as they climb the hill up at Road America and go to turn number 1 once again, lap number 7.
Goyette in the slipstream now of Hamilton, and if we draw on that timing and scoring data from our previous race, Brandon Hawken had almost a 1 second per lap gap advantage over 2nd place. So I'm not surprised to see him pulling it out even with the difference in tires. I think that Hamilton's going to have a tough run ahead of him here in the next handful of laps, but here we go. Jamie Ritchie Price versus Ben Goyette. Kind of deja vu.
Yeah, that is a battle that has bled over from the sprint race. Ritchie Price is currently the one who holds that 3rd place, and it is for the same position. Ben Goyette, Jamie Ritchie Price battling back and forth. As it stands last time by, Brandon Hawken, and do want to mention this, did set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:36.124. and Akabueze only had a 137.097, so not quite what he wanted to have happen. Nicholas Pressey is off the track, but he's going to be okay. He's going to get it going as we continue to watch this battle for third place.
Well, you got to wonder when those yellow tires are going to fall off and when you have to come into pit road to get them changed, as Goyette going to look down to the inside. Oh, gets so close to the back of Jamie Ritchie Price, but I think the yellow tires are already bleeding the speed to the white hardwall tires.
Yeah, and there's also just pure pace, and I think Brandon Hawken has that pure pace that may be able to overcome that tire grip differential between the hard and the medium compound tires. I mean, those mediums probably are falling off a little bit already, but Hawkins just been so unbeatable. I would not be shocked. As we watch right now, Josh Stoltz, Jonathan Goke, they were really quick through the kink and down into Kettle's bottom, and not able to get by that time. But it's been a battle back and forth between these two.
Josh Stoltz was our he started on the front row here today in that number 22 machine, trying to defend off some comers and goers as he tries to settle in through the field here through turn 5. And he's doing a terrific job right now. And I think just looking at the end of the race, we still have a huge chunk of it. You got to settle into a rhythm eventually.
Yeah, and I do want to call out the fact that last time by, Hamilton Akabueze was about a tenth faster than Brandon Hawken. I don't know if that's going to be enough in order to close that 1.7 second gap, but Akabueze definitely our quickest driver, so those medium compound tires are overcoming a little bit of that pace differential. Akabueze fastest last time by.
I'll keep an eye on that data because I am a sucker for data and vehicle dynamics, and always like to watch when those tires are good, when they're falling off. And looks like the number 99 is still making the yellows work, as well as Ben Goyette here. Ben is also on those medium tires. He's hanging on to the back of Jamie, who's on the whites.
Yeah, that is impressive that they're able to do that. Both of them started on these tires, so they've not come down pit road just yet. So I imagine that Ben Goyette's a long-term experiment that we're going to keep our eyes on, just to see how his fall-off is going to compare against Jamie Ritchie Price. I imagine Ben Goyette will be coming down pit road before Ritchie Price does. So we will continue to follow that story. But yeah, medium versus hard compound tires, I think that's our story of the race so far.
It will be. It'll continue to play out, and going to be curious to see if it'll just be one stop or two stop that we see out of the competitors today, especially if they're using those softer compound tires. Are you going to stretch it the full fuel stint, or are you going to get greedy and come in a few laps early, which would help probably promote multiple stops here tonight?
I'm currently riding on board between Akabueze and Brandon Hawken just to see how they're managing their corners a little bit differently. And one of the things I'm noticing, Joey, is Hawkins' steering inputs are a lot less extreme compared to Akabueze. It seems like Hamilton is having to put a little bit more effort into getting his car to corner at the same speed that Hawkins able to. Maybe we can get an onboard here shortly and just compare the two of them. But Hawken looking very smooth. Yeah, you'll see right here, Hamilton is very jittery with his inputs comparative to Brandon Hawken. We'll watch Hawken as he enters maybe turn 1 or maybe through turn 3. Compare it to Hamilton here.
And just to talk on this, there could be a few things going on. One, the old adage, smooth is fast, is definitely true. And then the other thing that we are considering here is everybody's on different equipment. In the real world, sure, they're driving all of these identical cars. But when they are hooked into their sim rig, everybody is on different equipment, which we could see and could produce a little bit of varying driving styles.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It could be the differential between Hamilton and Akabueze on a direct drive versus Hawken, who is maybe on a belt-driven system. But like you said, different types of inputs can definitely show different things. But you see right here, he doesn't seem to be counter-steering near as much as Akabueze, and that means he's not overdriving that rear end of the car and having to catch the rear end of the car. So this is definitely something you're going to want to keep track on, just to watch and see how they're managing their tires, and managing tires is certainly going to affect your long-term pace, as Brandon Hawken has already continued to carry out a little bit more speed. He now holds the fastest lap at a 1:35.323.
You are 100% right when it comes to the driving style, and when you're smooth like Brandon Hawken, you save the tires, you don't abuse the tires. And you mentioned it, Hamilton just a little bit more aggressive on the inputs, and that just takes a little bit more from the tire. You're using it a little bit harder each corner, and you're right, it does add up towards the end of the race.
Keep an eye on that. We'll see when Brandon Hawken and Hamilton Akabuezi go in, but we have a pass right now. That's for P number 6, Josh Stoltz. Brian Sabelski go side by side into turn number 1. Stoltz able to make that inside line work a little bit better than Brian Sabelski's outside line, but we're going to continue to follow this as we exit turn number 3 and go down the straightaway, entering into turn number 5.
I've had the corner of my eye on this battle, and Josh Stoltz versus Brian Sabelski has been going on for the last handful of laps here. They've swapped positions a few times. They can't figure out who wants to lead this battle. Right now it's Josh Stoltz leading Sabelski, but it's only a matter of time until Brian gets another really good run.
Yeah, Brian is really quick. He was about 0.2 of a second faster that last lap, and fortunately, no factor zero. He overcooks corner entry. Brian Sabelski does. It locks up that left front tire. You got to be careful. You don't want to flat spot or get the tire too hot. He's going to be able to drive away. It looks like he'll be okay, but definitely something you want to avoid doing, any sort of lockups, because that'll definitely kill the tire wear in the car.
You were talking about our leader being smooth, and lockups are part of it. When you squeeze that brake pedal too hard and you light up those tires with a lockup, you're just taking life off of the tire. You're overheating it. That means the next corner, it's not going to have the grip that you need it to, and just makes you slower every single corner.
Whoa! Oh no! And around goes Brian Sabelski. Just got a little too much off of corner exit. Turn number 14, be careful. We got a car coming up. It looks like that might be Matthew Brewer. No, that was, looks like Nicholas Pressey gets around. But Brian Sabelski makes an early mistake. Well, I guess a midway mistake. And he's going to come down pit road, take advantage of the opportunity, and just replace those tires that he's currently on. Probably overcooked them a little bit.
A smart move. You're, like you mentioned, about halfway, so I think just split the strategy in half right here. Get a full tank of fuel, get a new set of tires on that aren't so dirty and overheated. Get back out there on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's an opportunity to reset, kind of figure out how you want the rest of your race to go. I'm sure there'll be further mistakes just like that. If you can continue to go out there, turn laps, and don't make any further mistakes, you'll probably be able to make up 1 or 2 more positions by the end of the race. But this is definitely one of our cleaner FTF1 races. Although we still had 1 safety car so far, it wasn't. Well, I'll say this: we are not starting or continuing the tradition of wrecking a lot during the first 1 or 2 laps. It was just one minor incident involving 2 cars or 2 or 3 cars, unlike previous, where it would normally be 5 or 6, and we would have about 5 cars out before the halfway point of the race.
I also think that the drivers are comfortable. Just as I say that, Jamie Ritchie Price has a problem. We saw a problem out of turn 14 last lap, and now it bites another competitor. And tell you what, it couldn't happen in a better place for Ben Goyette, because he's already on pit road. He was on those yellow tires, but disaster for the number 75.
Yeah, and he is on those white wall tires, so those tires are they're a little bit harder. They'll be able to handle a spin like that a little bit better. But you got to wonder, did that do any damage to the nose of that car, since he kind of, I think, lightly tapped that nose? We'll see if he's going to come back down and get service to his vehicle. But you got to wonder, are they going to ask, hey, can we swap out that nose? Or are they going to just let him go and not even have to worry about it? Ben Goyette exits pit road. We'll see, what is he on right now? He is back on the white walled tires. So Ben Goyette's experiment with those yellow tires lasted roughly 8 laps or so before he had to come back in and swap out those tires.
Well, and this is the right strategy for Ben. Get back on those harder tires and finish it out to the end. I'm noticing that these cars, they're making it 13 plus laps on their fuel stint. So with 11 laps to go, he'll have plenty of fuel in the car, and there's no need to come down pit road. So just throw the hardest set of compounds you got on it.
Yeah, it'll be curious when Hawken comes down pit road. We'll see what his plan and his strategy here is to attack the rest of this race. He's kind of in control. Currently working lap number 13, 10 laps to go, 22 minutes on the clock. We should be ending under a laps condition and not a timeout condition. But we'll continue to follow along here as he goes through turn number 3 and just see what his plan is. 7 seconds out in front over Akabuezi, and just seems to be all Hawken today.
Oh, yeah. I sound like a broken record when I talk about Brandon Hawken in these road racing events. I mean, he just sets the world on fire every single time he's out there. It almost seems like he's in a different class of car, which is tough to believe. But I think right now, Josh, the story of the race is going to be Ben Goyette versus Hamilton Akabueze. So Hamilton, look at his lap times. He has fallen off a huge amount on those yellow tires, specifically the last 2 to 3 laps. Ben Goyette has come in. He's got those fresh tires on, so he's going to have some speed on that race car. Can he make up that gap? It was only about 2 to 3 seconds when Ben Goyette hit pit lane. I'm curious how much Hamilton Akabueze is going to keep bleeding that time out there.
Yeah, the undercut could be very powerful here if executed correctly and not overdriven. We'll follow along as Hamilton Akabueze is continuing to bleed a little bit of time here and there on those older medium tires. He's already back, it looks like, about 9 seconds, nearing 10 seconds for Brandon Hawken. And he loses it off corner exit. He's going to take that opportunity, bring it down pit road, and finally get rid of those used up medium compound tires.
And I wonder, coupled with the mistake and the poor lap time, I'll have to keep an eye on where Ben Goyette is. He's just through the kink, so lots of time to be made up still. But curious, is Hamilton going to lose the second place? And talking about that lap time, Cliff, it was about lap 8 or 9 on his fuel stint that he really started to fall off. So if I'm Brandon Hawken and I have to go on to the yellows or reds, I'm looking to come in probably 1 more lap, 2 more laps at the earliest.
Matthew Brewer also comes down pit road. You lose about 38 seconds on pit road. We'll see what Hamilton Akabueze loses. He spends about 38 seconds on pit road, 39 nearly. And Ben Goyette, turn number 1 right now. Hamilton Akabueze trying to get up to speed. He is currently in turn number 3. But that distance between the two of them is about, I would say, about 5.5 seconds. So fortunate for Hamilton Akabueze, didn't bleed too much time. He's going to continue to hold that position, but he's going to lose a little bit of time on this first lap as he tries to get those tires up to temperature. You see they're just a little bit cold and a little bit slidey for him.
Well called for Hamilton. I thought he was going to lose a little bit more time to Goyette on the racetrack, but good strategy keeps him in that second place position. Now, I know he's in 6th on the racetrack. However, once the pit stop cycles all go through, he will find himself back into 2nd place because the cars in front of him, Jonathan Goke, Jamie Ritchie Price, Josh Stoltz, Nicholas Pressey, they all still have to come in. And more problems out of turn 14, Josh Stoltz.
Oh man, he has lost his whole front end of his car. He should be able to get that repaired rather immediately, probably take a fast repair here. But Josh Stoltz comes down pit road. He's going to get his car serviced, and that is going to be an interesting tale to follow. How much time is he going to lose? He was running, and it looks like 4th place before this all happened, and he is going to lose a couple of spots, forced to come down pit road to get this car serviced right now.
Make sure to stay out of the oil spill from that Mercedes on pit road down there, but he will have to take some repairs, and they do have the fast repairs, so he should just be able to go up on jacks, put some new tires on, get the repairs done, and get right back on out.
As long as he had the fast repair checked, it looks like he does. He's going to come out with a nice new nose cone, fresh vehicle. Mostly just lost the time sitting on track. Josh Stoltz gets back out onto pit road, fresh tires. and maybe a little bit of a hurt ego. But as I say that, Brandon Hawken brings it down pit road. We were waiting for this moment to see what he would do. White wall tires. He has got 8 laps remaining, and that's a familiar number. How long did Ben Goyette's medium tire stint last? Well, 8 laps. So I think this might be a white to medium swap for Brandon Hawken.
Yeah, and you're going to look 7 laps to go here once he gets back out on the track. And really, plus an out lap, you're only looking at 6 green flag laps. So I think this is going to be a comfortable yellow tire change, which he goes on back down on the ground. Our leader, Brandon Hawken, already away comfortably.
Jonathan Goke, Jamie Ritchie Price all join him down pit road. Hawken already back out. Didn't even have a pass on track or off track even. Hawken continuing to establish himself as the leader, 5 seconds back to Nicholas Pressey. Pressey, I do believe, still needs to come down pit road. He is not going to be able to make it to the end. If I have all my numbers correct, yeah, he came on lap number 3 last time by. I don't believe that's long enough for him to be able to make it to the end of the race.
One thing I've been noticing here, Josh, is with these cars specifically, these IRO1 cars, look at how much rubber they lay down on the racetracks that they visit. I mean, Road America is typical for taking rubber, but around this racetrack, these race cars are putting down a tremendous amount of tire.
Yeah, they are, and especially with these softer compounds that we've seen some of them experimenting with or at some point or another being forced to run, it's going to put a little bit more rubber down than the harder compound tires, but with just the amount of tires out on track, 4 per car, well, optimally 4 per car. Any less than that, you probably got a problem, but that'll be putting plenty of rubber down on track and making definitely lower grip areas or higher grip areas in some circumstances, just areas where your car is going to be eating a little less of that rubber off the tire.
It makes sense given that how huge the tires are, the contact patch on these things, plus the downforce that they're making. So the grip that they are putting onto the racetrack is pretty tremendous. And I mean, they're doing 190 miles an hour everywhere. I'm looking through the carousel here, 140 plus miles an hour through the carousel. I wish we had a G-force telemetry to show us.
That would be a lot of G-forces. 140 miles per hour through a completely off camber or flat camber corner like the carousel.
Yeah, and the carousel does have some camber to it. Where you're getting a little confused though is it's downhill, so it feels like it's off camber, but it definitely does have a little bit of banking to it.
Okay, that's fair. A little bit of baking, but yes, downhill. It's a little bit of banking is probably a great way to put it, but there's 1 degree maybe. You're still going to be feeling a lot of lateral G-forces on the body, so they are probably carrying a lot of speed through there, and it is going to feel very lateral.
I mean, I was looking Hamilton Akabueze, who just went by Nicholas Pressey, 172 miles an hour exiting the carousel. I mean, they're already on the chip doing 190 miles an hour off a fuel cut, and we haven't mentioned it because we haven't rode on board a lot, but that's one of the reasons why the tow is so powerful here at Road America is because they are reaching their top speed, their 6th gear speed, probably about halfway down the straightaway.
And speaking of extraordinarily fast, Brandon Hawken's last lap was phenomenal. 5 out of the 6 sectors, he went purple with a 134.774. Those medium tires are very, very fast. He is going phenomenally quick throughout this track. Had a near perfect lap of all purple sectors. Brandon Hawken, shades of Max Verstappen right now.
He's just hooked up on cruise control again. He's got the fresh tires, and not only the fresh tires, but the medium, the softer compound. So he is going to be setting some lightning fast lap times. I'm even looking at this one, Josh. This one, he's tracking 0.2 faster than his previous.
Yeah, Sector 1 was a green sector, so quicker than his last time by, but still not purple. Sector 2 was purple and Jamie Ritchie Price just went purple in sector number 2. Brennan Hawken, purple currently sector 3 as he crosses sector number 4, also purple. So yeah, he is continuing to set lightning fast pace right now. I believe this next lap, if I had to guess, he's gonna be purple once again. But right now we have a battle on board. I mentioned it earlier. Jamie Ritchie Price went purple through sector number 2, and he's doing that with a battle with Jonathan Goke directly ahead of him.
Jamie Ritchie Price, remember, he had the spin coming out of turn 14 a handful of laps ago. Lost all the track position, and here we go, looking to the inside, going into Canada corner, not quite close enough to make a move on Jonathan Goke this time. However, I do think Jamie Ritchie Price has more pace.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pace in that car at sectors 2 and sectors 4. He's the fastest to ever have gone through them so far this race. So Ritchie Price definitely has a lot, and it looks like Goke just, there's a little bit of miscommunication. Goke said he was going to go right and let Price go on the outside, but just lets him go through. Doesn't want to have a major battle with a car that is phenomenally faster, but they're able to sort it out going into turn number 1 and move Price up to 4th place.
I think that's smart from Jonathan Goke, because if you realize that a car is faster, there's no point in holding him up. It's just going to potentially push you off the track or even have damage to your car. The better option is break out that notepad, that pen and paper, take notes, say, hey, where is he faster than I, and where can I make the changes, pick up a little bit of speed.
And it may not necessarily be about getting back by him, but trying to do your best to not continue to bleed time off. Jonathan Goke, he does have a 10-second advantage over Josh Stoltz, but that can quickly go away with a couple of mistakes. We do have 4 laps to go, so it would be a lot of mistakes in order to lose a lead like that, or one major mistake. But still, that's something that you just want to continue to audit yourself, even towards the end of the race as we go to 3 laps to go. You don't want to make a major mistake, but you also just kind of want to learn, because next time you're at a road course, you can take advantage of that information.
Well, Josh, what if I told you there was going to be a battle on the racetrack to settle the final podium position between Ben Goyette and Jamie Ritchie Price, but this time it's not the sprint, it's going to be the feature, and Jamie Ritchie Price has a huge tire advantage. He is hunting down the number 4, taking massive chunks of time out.
Yeah, and he was the fastest through the last sector last time by. I can tell you right now, he was nearly 2 seconds faster than the 4 car last lap, and now the distance between them is 2 seconds. There's plenty of time for Jamie Ritchie Price to be able to make this move over Ben Goyette, and it's the battle that just keeps on giving. I was hoping we might see a crazy battle to the end, and it seems like one's fresh off the platter, ready to be eaten for us.
And I think Jonathan Goke is hanging on to the back of this red 75. He wants to be there to pick up any of the pieces in case it ends in tears. And trust me, we've seen some heated battles between Jamie Ritchie Price versus Ben Goyette already. Who's going to be deeper on the brakes? I think Ben is more aggressive into the brake zones. However, I don't feel like he's got the tire advantage. Going to be curious to see how this goes down.
Yeah, well, we saw that Jamie Ritchie Price was willing to get a little bit shoulders out in the sprint race. Maybe Ben Goyette wasn't going to necessarily do that, but now that Jamie Ritchie Price got a little bit elbows out in that sprint race, maybe he's going to do a couple of blocks and make things happen. Unfortunately, Brian Sabelski has a bit of he got a meatball flag as well, so Brian Sabelski's going to go down, get that service, but we're going to continue to follow this. The lead for Goyette over Ritchie Price, 1 second, so he took an entire second out of that, and now has that toe. So we'll see if he's going to be able to get into position to make a pass here into turn number 5.
Here we go through turn 3. Jamie Ritchie Price on his marks, but same with Ben Goyette. Gets a nice exit, but it's all about that slipstream. Ben pretty much just sitting duck on the straightaways. Jamie capitalizing on about 4 miles an hour advantage.
Not able to make it happen into turn number 5 right there. 2 laps to go. Plenty of time for this to be settled out. And we saw so many passes in the last 3 laps during the sprint race that It may look like this now. It may be flipped in 4 corners, and it may be flopped again after another 5 corners. So we'll keep an eye on this battle, as right now Brandon Hawken looks to climb the hill 2 more times. That's going to be his second to last time. He's going to take the white flag here in the Modern Racing Prince FTF1 series for the feature race. That's a repeat of the sprint race. Brandon Hawken looking to get some new hardware for his bedroom in the Modern Racing Prince. A nice print to the Road America for winning both the sprint race and the feature.
Yeah, he's got just under 4 miles, but look at what has happened. Jamie Ritchie Price officially within striking distance of Ben Goyette coming out of turn 14. Both of these cars have had problems there, but clean on the exit. Jamie Ritchie Price now in full attack mode. Goyette on defense. Who's going to go deeper on the brakes into 1?
Side by side into turn number 1. Ritchie Price, Ben Goyette. Ritchie Price put him out in front for the moment. 1 lap to go. Ritchie Price is on the podium. Ben Goyette has a little bit of pace. Can he stay with the toe and stay in touch with Ritchie Price as they go down, exiting turn number 3 towards turn number 5?
Really dominating move one more time around the outside of turn 1 for Jamie Ritchie Price. And I feel given those tires, he has the pace advantage. It's going to have to be another mistake in order for Ben Goyette to get back on by.
And they work their way up the hill from turn number 5 towards turn number 6. Ben Goyette not quite able to get up there. But as it stands, exiting turn number 14 right now, Brandon Hawken. It's been nothing but Brandon Hawken all afternoon here at Road America. Climbs the hill for the final time and takes the checkered flag as well as a poster from ModernRacingPrince.com. He wins the FTF1 series at Road America and gets a beautiful sweep of the evening. Grand Slam, sort of say.
Just flawless execution from the number 1 car, and here's this battle. Ben Goyette just sent it crazy deep on the brakes going into Canada corner as a last-ditch effort. I just don't think he's going to get there. Hamilton Akabueze has already crossed the line in second. Jamie Ritchie Price is going to round out your podium.
Jamie Ritchie Price with an absolutely dominating turn number 14 last time by will be able to get the 3rd place and the last spot on the podium. But right now, it's not all over. Nicholas Pressey, Josh Stoltz. Oh, as I say that, Josh Stoltz gets a little bit heated into Canada corner, is over Cook's entry, and that's going to make the battle for the 6th place pretty much well-rounded. That was a pass on the last lap for that 6th place. Nicholas Pressey is going to be able to get it over Josh Stoltz.
What a finish between the podium finishers. Deja vu one more time between Goyette versus Ritchie Price, and you couldn't ask for better battles throughout the entire race.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal race, and you got to hand it to Brandon Hawken. He went out there, and sometimes with race weekends where you know you just have the race pace to beat everyone, it's all about not racing yourself too hard. We saw it with Kyle Larson at Sonoma in the Xfinity Series. Just got an unlucky series of events. Not letting yourself get too in your head. Just continue to hit your marks and continue to capitalize on every single lap. Brandon Hawken was able to do it, won the feature race, won the pole, and now also won the sprint race. Now he's going to take the checkered flag and a poster from Modern Racing Prince. Beautiful set of donuts right there for Brandon Hawken. We'll go ahead and take a look at the results here very shortly to get an idea of how everything turned out at the end of the race. Tell you right now, one team that is going to be looking to have a good rebound for the next race is going to be the Traction team. We'll get to that here in a second. Brandon Hawken is going to win by 20 seconds. That is an incredible lead over Akabueze. Jamie Ritchie Price is going to capture that last spot on the podium. Ben Goyette finishes where his car number stands in 4th place. Jonathan Goke 5th. Nicholas Pressey started from 10th, was able to make his way forward, was able to overcome a little bit of sprint race difficulties. Josh Stoltz started in 2nd, was able to finish where he finished in the sprint race, got 7th again. Matthew Brewer 8th. Justin Miller, first car 1 lap down, and those traction cars hoping for a better week next week. And Brian Sabelski rounds out once again where his car number stands.
Then a few more with issues. Ryan Naraki out here, 14 laps back. Brian Saucier also with problems on the racetrack, and also problems on the racetrack for that 999 safety car who ended on pit road.
Blew up his engine, but fortunately those fast repairs came in clutch. And we're going to go ahead and catch up here with Brandon Hawk. And Brandon Hawk, and I would say that you definitely channeled your inner Max Verstappen here at Road America. Absolutely left the field in your dust, scored yourself a poster from modernracingprince.com, and now scored yourself some extra points to close that gap to Hamilton Akabuezi.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm really happy with how that went. Start was really sketchy. They had us lined up really close together, but everybody did a really great job staying in one piece through there. It was really tight, but we made it. And really great race from everybody. And man, huge thanks to Modern Racing Prince. I'm sure that poster is going to look awesome up on my wall. I wrote America poster too, so that's really cool. So thank you to them. And man, yeah, just trying to click off laps. I wasn't sure what the fuel situation was there with Hamilton, if he was able to get gas under that caution, and I just wanted to get a bit of a gap, just in case I had to take a little bit more fuel. But fortunately, I was done fueling just as they dropped the jack, so I was able to get out of the pits in a good amount of time, and just kind of bring her home there. That was everything went to plan, so that was really good.
Well, we're looking forward to the next race here, the Chicago 300 at Chicagoland, June 30th. Obviously, you have momentum rolling off of this race. What you're looking towards that race? What you think you're going to be able to capitalize on this momentum, or do you think just the road course to the oval is it's not going to be able to translate just as well?
They're quite a bit different. You got different tire compounds, the way the tires kind of act over the course of the run, and it's like I find there's a lot. It seems like there's a lot of fuel saving involved on the ovals. I got nabbed with that there the last oval we went to at Texas, but it's gonna be it's kind of a coin toss. I think there's so many variables, and you get a caution at a bad time, pit like a lap earlier, and realize you don't have enough, so you have to save, or end up in like different groups of people where you may or may not be able to save as much. And so yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff that can go wrong or right for you, and especially with how big the draft is in these cars, you really have to. It's kind of just like back and forth. So it's gonna be a tough one. And ovals, of course, without the sprint format, like one or two positions gains or loses a lot of points. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Just like I think Texas top four, we were within like a tenth of a second or something, and then there's still about like a 30-point gap, I think, between first and third. So something like that. So it's gonna be kind of luck of the draw, I think. We'll see how it goes. I really want to try and chip into that points lead again, but you never know. We'll see how it goes.
Well, there you go. Brandon Hawken, first on the score sheet, first on the car number, and now looking like he's closing his way into first place for the championship race. Congratulations, Brandon.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Joey was able to catch up with our second place finisher, Hamilton Akabuezi. Joey.
Hamilton, congratulations on 2 second places, kind of the best of the rest here at Road America. Talk to us about your race. Hamilton, do we have?
Yeah.
We got you?
My pace was kind of just exactly where I expected it to be. I mean, I'm just can't keep up with Hawken, but faster than everyone else, which I'm happy with. I came in hoping to get second place, and I got second place, so I'll take it. Like, I spun out at the start of the feature race, but it didn't really end up mattering at all. So yeah, just keeping it out of the wall. I went to the mediums, and they wore off a lot faster than I thought they would. Kind of similar to Le Mans last week. But yeah, it ended up working out.
We saw that spin coming out of turn 14 on the first lap. And then, yes, you're right. We saw you come down pit road and take those yellow tires. Was it the grip advantage that allowed you to climb through the field so quickly before they fell off?
I think I would have been able to make it through anyways, but it certainly made things maybe a little faster. But they're only faster for like 4 or 5 laps or so. Obviously, Hawken was still faster than me the whole time on mediums, but he's Hawken, so not much I can do.
Well, and no more road course next time out, back to the oval. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I know like going in with the same strategy as Texas, just fuel save as much as I possibly can. It worked out there. That's what got me the win, being able to fuel save better than everyone else. So I'm just gonna try and do the same thing because I think it'll be similar type of racing there. So yeah,
Well, Hamilton, congrats one more time.
thank you.
That was Hamilton Akabueze coming home in second place for both the sprint and the feature at Road America.
We have caught up with Jamie Ritchie Price, who, man, you had an incredible battle to capture that last podium place finish. You were able to make it happen in both the sprint and the feature. Just how intense was that in the car for you?
Very, very intense. Seems I love making it harder for myself to get a podium in both of those races. But yeah, it was a great battle with Ben in both of those races. Obviously, Hawking and Hamilton were just gone, so I was just fighting for what I could. But yeah, that was a pretty fantastic battle at the end.
Yeah, you were able to score some serious points, and I believe that'll move you pretty far forward in the driver standings. A good race weekend out at Road America. Now we're going to an oval race next. Will you be participating in that? And do you think, or are you going to be looking forward to the Watkins Glen race for the next road course race?
I have yet to driven this car on an oval yet, so I have no clue. So hopefully I can be there for the next oval round. As for Watkins Glen, I'm definitely excited for that one down the line.
Phenomenal. Well, that's exciting. You had an incredible battle for third place there. You were able to get it both times. You were able to qualify third and able to hold on to it in the sprint race. Started sixth place, going through third. Walk us through that start and you're working your way towards that front through the field. We saw that you were able to make that happen and overcome a couple of issues along the way.
Yeah, I'm just telling myself, right, just don't bottle ever again. Just keep it on the black stuff and get by them all easy as pie. And luckily they made it a little bit easier for me. But yeah, like I said earlier, I just love making it harder for myself for no reason at all.
Well, congratulations, Jamie. Comes out in third, gets a couple of points to the board. Only 2 starts so far this season. Now it's going to be his third start. And number 3, and Jamie Ritchie Price seem to have a lot in common here at Road America. Third start in the sprint, 2 third-place finishes, and his third start overall in the Modern Racing Prince FTF1 series. Congratulations again on the podium, Jamie.
Thank you, mate.
Well, Joey, what are your thoughts as we exit here at Road America and look forward to Chicago on June 30th? What are your thoughts going into that race? Anything carry over from here, or is it a completely different type of racing?
Completely different type of racing. I know that Brandon Hawken dominates these road courses, but going to the ovals, it opens up a whole different ball game. But talking about today at Road America, broken record, Brandon Hawken, Hamilton Akabueze, the best of the rest, and then I just got to think the stories tonight. Jamie Ritchie Price, what tremendous drives to round out the podium on both of the races.
And a special shout out to Jonathan Goke. He was able to stay in touch right there. Comes home in 5th place. He is able to improve from his sprint race finish. He had a 6th place and got a 5th place there. And Ben Goyette, pretty much our top 4, identical from sprint to feature. So a lot of good racing, as you were saying.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out the next 2 ovals, because I can't wait to be back on the call at the Glen here in a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have to look forward to the Rectangle 500 on July 15th, 22nd, Watkins Glen August 4th, and we'll round out the season at FTF for the FTF.GG 500 at California on August 18th. But that'll round out our coverage here at Road America. It was all Brandon Hawken from the drop of the green flag in the sprint race all the way to the drop of the checkered flag in the feature. Brandon Hawken has a near Grand Slam weekend here at Road America. For Josh Mendoza, or my name's Josh Mendoza, Joey Attenbury, and for Zach Johnson behind the controls. We thank you very much for watching the ModernRacingPrince.com FTF1 series. And once again, congratulations to Brandon Hawken on an absolutely phenomenal weekend.